This world will fall. Like all the others.
Steppenwolf first showed up briefly. The current design, the Zack Snyder design, in the post-credit scene on Batman vs Superman. So that was a nice thing for us. We didn't have to do anything from scratch. It was just kind of a realization of that design that already existed and making sure that was up to scratch. And visual effects, 4 years is an eternity. So making sure since 2017 that it was looked A+ as far as 2020 technology goes. And then the nice thing from that was, so we did work on the look dev and the way his metal looked and that. But I think the most interesting thing was the character was such a different character in this movie that has a knock-on effect of facial animation is different, and then his body motion is different. He's got this aggressive, active armor, and that turns into being more aggressive in his motion and being like really just leaning into him being a different character.
With 1 year to the next, we changed the way that we work, we changed the tools that we use to just keep on iterating and making the end result look better and better. So taking something from like 3-4 years ago and then updating it is actually a huge amount of work. The biggest, even in shots where we were supposed to just take Steppenwolf and swap him out with a new one.
First, nothing is ever that easy in visual effects. You pull on a thread of a shot and some, there were a lot of shots we had to just redo completely. And then a lot of shots where we just did the whole thing. We had a lot of shots that were just brand new work that needed to be in the movie to tell that story correctly.
Zack's got the chance to go back and do his sort of original vision for it, which is very big. I mean, the movie's nearly 4 hours long, right? So even scenes that we did have already done in 2017, like the Themyscira attack, like the history lesson scene, those are massively expanded from what they were last time around. So there's shots that were completely new to us. There were shots that were taken to a certain stage in 2017 before they got put on hold or put on ice. And so actually just updating and filling all of that out is a huge amount of work. Darkseid, he actually existed already as well. He got to a reasonable point in 2017 before he was cut out and replaced in those couple of scenes with Steppenwolf. Darkseid was already developed as a concept, as a character design fairly early in the process, 4 years ago. So really it was a case of us just bringing him up to scratch, as Kevin was saying. And so I guess, yeah, I think the iterations you see, like changing from trailer to the final version of the movie, is still essentially the same character. It's just we had a bit more time to finish him off rather than getting something out for a trailer.
The internet buzz building up as we spent the last 6 months kind of filing these shots, and the teaser would come out and the internet would go crazy, and you're like, yeah, we're doing that. That's cool. People want to see it. It's
actually more like 6 months rather than a year that we had to do the work. So it's even a shorter amount of time. But it's just the level of talent and experience here means that, yes, you do worry about sometimes, like when you're staring down the barrel of the number of shots, but you can have faith that the crew that you have working on the project knows what they're doing and knows enough to get it done, and that's always borne out in my experience.
Visual effects is like being strapped to the front of a speeding train, and you can't reach the brakes, and that's it. Here comes the deadline. Every show, it's always like that.